The cargo manifest listed it as specimen X7, Vraken apex predator, juvenile. What it didn't mention was that the creature had killed 4 handlers across 3 star systems, each death more brutal than the last. Canet stood before the reinforced containment unit aboard the research vessel Ptolemy's Gate, his 3 hearts hammering in discordant rhythm. Through the plasma-shielded viewing port he could see the creature, a mass of midnight fur and corded muscle, easily the size of a small shuttle. Its 6 eyes gleamed like dying stars in the dim light, and its fangs could pierce battle armor like wet paper. "You cannot be serious about this, Bella," Canet said, his voice translator struggling to convey the depth of his concern. "The Vraken cub has demonstrated nothing but lethal hostility. It killed its last handler by—" "I read the report," Bella interrupted, not looking up from her datapad. The human woman was unremarkably small by galactic standards, barely reaching Canet's mid-thorax. Her dark hair was pulled back in what she called a ponytail, and she wore the standard research station jumpsuit with an alarming casualness. "Tore through reinforced plasteel and 3 security drones." "I know." "Then you understand why the Consensus Council has ordered its termination, which is exactly why I asked for 1 week. Bella finally looked at him, her brown eyes holding that peculiar human intensity that made even veteran warriors uncomfortable. 1 week to prove there's another way." Canet's secondary arms twitched in a gesture of helpless frustration. In his 2 decades of xenobiological research, he'd never met a species quite like humans. They were paradoxes wrapped in flesh, fragile yet resilient, logical yet emotional, terrified of death yet constantly courting it. "Very well," he conceded. "But I will be monitoring from the observation deck. At the first sign of aggression, you'll flood the chamber with neural suppressant gas. I know the protocols, Canet." She smiled, and there was something predatory in it that reminded him uncomfortably of the creature in the cell. "Trust me." The first day, Bella simply entered the containment chamber and sat down. The Vraken cub's reaction was immediate, a roar that vibrated through the reinforced walls, making Canet's scales stand on end from 3 rooms away. The creature lunged, only to be stopped by the neural inhibitor collar around its massive neck. It thrashed, snarled, and snapped at the air between them. Bella pulled out a basket of clothing and began folding laundry. Canet watched through the monitors, mandibles agape. "What is she doing?" "The human called it laundry," his assistant chirped nervously. "Apparently a routine domestic task." For 6 hours, Bella folded clothes while the Vraken cub exhausted itself with rage. When it finally collapsed, panting, she quietly left. Day 2 was the same, and day 3. By day 4, the cub's roars had diminished to warning growls. It watched Bella with 6 unblinking eyes as she calmly paired socks and smoothed wrinkles from fabric. Once she hummed, a wordless human melody that made Canet's translator emit confused static. "This is madness," he muttered, yet he couldn't look away. Day 5 brought the breakthrough nobody expected. The cub, still wary, crept closer, not in attack posture, but with the curious tilted gait of a juvenile investigating something novel. It watched Bella's hands as they worked, fold, smooth, stack. The repetitive motion seemed to entrance it. When Bella reached for a new garment, her hand passed within striking distance of those terrible jaws. The cub didn't move. "Disable the neural inhibitor," Bella's voice came through the comm system. "Absolutely not." Canet was already reaching for the emergency protocols. "Canet, trust me. Disable it." Perhaps it was curiosity. Perhaps it was the strange human quality of inspiring foolish faith. Canet's fingers hesitated over the controls, then moved. The collar deactivated with a soft chime. The Vraken cub's ears swiveled. It could feel the restraint release. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then slowly the creature laid down. Not in submission. Any xenobiologist could see that. It was the posture of a predator choosing to observe rather than engage. Those 6 eyes never left Bella, but there was something different in their depths. Calculation, assessment, intelligence. Bella continued folding laundry. Day 7 arrived with the Consensus Council's final transmission. Proceed with termination protocol. Canet made his way to the containment chamber, authorization codes heavy in his datapad. Through the viewing port, he saw something that would fuel academic debates for years to come. The Vraken cub, apex predator of the Maelstrom Nebula, killer of 4 trained handlers, was curled in a massive circle around Bella, not restraining her, not threatening her, simply beside her. Bella sat cross-legged, reading from her data pad. Occasionally, she'd reach out and scratch behind one of the cub's ears. The creature's massive head would tilt into the touch, a rumbling sound emanating from its chest that the translator couldn't quite classify. Was it a purr, a growl, something entirely alien? Kanat entered the chamber slowly. The cub's eyes fixed on him immediately, but it didn't move. Bella looked up and smiled. "Hey, Kanat. Come to check on us?" "The council's order. Can wait." She returned her attention to the creature beside her. "His name is Fenrir, and he's not a mindless killing machine. He was scared, traumatized. Every handler before treated him like a weapon to be controlled." Her hand stroked the midnight fur. "I treated him like a living being who needed time to understand he was safe." "That's—" Kanat searched for words. "That's not scientific." "No," Bella agreed. "It's human." The cub, Fenrir, made that strange rumbling sound again, and Bella laughed. It was a sound of pure joy, and somehow, against all logic and reason, the deadliest predator in known space seemed content to simply exist in that moment. Kanat looked at his data pad, at the termination codes waiting to be entered. Then he looked at the human and the monster that wasn't quite a monster anymore. He deleted the codes. "I will inform the council," he said slowly, "that the specimen has been successfully domesticated through revolutionary xenobiological techniques." He paused. "Though I suspect I will spend the rest of my career trying to explain exactly how folding laundry accomplished what neural suppressants and containment fields could not." Bella grinned. "Welcome to humanity, Kanat. We've been doing the impossible since before we left our planet." And beside her, a creature born to kill curled tighter, closed all 6 eyes, and slept.